Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Okay, so I'm still watching and analyzing the fallout of the left here, and obviously there's been a narrative created here. You know, it seems like they kinda don't get it. Seems like it's going right over their head. And of course, to a certain extent, this was expected. It was expected especially from the establishment types. You know, you'd expect the establishment Democrats to just put their head down and keep pushing the party line, keep doing whatever's best for the party. You'd expect delusion from the establishment types, but not from the actual progressives, right? Not from the grassroots leftist. Those are the people that you would expect would take the lesson, would analyze this more objectively and realize what they did wrong and how they need to improve. But of course, we're talking about the leftoids here, and especially we're talking about the progressive leftoids here. Yeah, they've learned nothing, especially on this whole Joe Rogan issue, which is mind-boggling because it's the simplest thing ever. You guys screwed up in this election because your candidate didn't show up and have an honest conversation. It's literally that simple. Okay, next time show up on the damn show. Problem solved. Dust off your hands, issue's over. But nope, the progressive left just simply cannot accept this simple solution here, the obvious facts, and so they're doubling down. Joe Rogan, I guess, is the enemy still. He, quote, betrayed the left and can never be trusted ever again. Yup. These leftoids are about to drive their party off a damn cliff. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so I think I pretty much laid out the context here. Here's Kyle Kulinski speaking with an old friend of the channel, Emma Vigeland. Just take a look.
Then you're fake independent media. You're not real independent media. And I'm now going to war because what we saw is a lot of these people like Joe Rogan, you know, I was there. I was on his show 4 or 5 times. He would sit there and nod in agreement when I would make anti-Trump arguments and arguments in favor of a left-wing worldview. Then 3 weeks later, Ben Shapiro would come on and say the exact opposite of me on every issue, and he would nod along in agreement, right? And so at some point, you got to call a spade a spade. You're not independent media, and you're clearly just a vibes-based voter, right? You cocooned yourself in this right-wing echo chamber where you got right-leaning UFC people and right-leaning comedians, and Dana White, his boss, is super right-wing and loves MAGA. He put himself in this echo chamber to break his brain, and then look at that. He goes full MAGA. And you know what? That makes me look like a jackass because I was the one going in there, taking him at face value, acting kind, holding his hand and walking him through it like he was a toddler on these topics. And then, wow, in retrospect, would you look at that? You completely flipped. I mean, we were defending him, unfortunately, way too late, right? When people were already on to, I don't know, man, you're saying a little bit more right-wing things here. And we would be like, well, no, look, here's a compilation of all the times Joe Rogan said base things. He argued for universal health care. He argued for free college. He argued for higher minimum wage and this good thing. And I would show that compilation and go, see, I don't know what you guys are talking about. But guess what? When you decide I'm going to endorse Donald Trump after he lied to your face relentlessly for the entire podcast, telling brazen lies, then I'm sorry, all the charity is gone, all the sympathy is gone, and I have to come to a different conclusion now. My conclusion of you could hold these people's hands and walk them through it and talk to them like they're reasonable and work it out. It just didn't work. It just didn't work. And that's why you see a much more bold, aggressive style out of me where I'm like these people and the horse they rode in on, because if what I did before didn't work, okay, I got to try a different approach now. So if it's just call these people the fucking frauds they are, well, then guess what? We're going to call them the frauds that they are.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's hard to wrap my head around. Kyle Kulinski is having a full-blown meltdown claiming that Joe Rogan is no longer independent media, but he's been totally captured by the far right. What in the hell is this guy talking about? You know, the baseline suggestion here is already so out of left field. Joe Rogan has abandoned all of his progressive ideas. Like, which one? Name a single one. Name a single issue where Joe Rogan all of a sudden now is a hardcore conservative. There aren't any issues. He's literally still a left-winger. He's still a classical liberal. He just didn't want to vote for the cackling DEI hire, who was essentially a puppet of the corrupt establishment. But that now makes him no longer trustworthy. He's a right-wing establishment propagandist. You're out of your damn mind. Not to mention this idea that Joe Rogan is 100% on the MAGA bandwagon. I mean, come on. It took him till like 2 weeks ahead of election day to finally be able to even stomach the idea that he would have Donald Trump on his show. That's a staunch MAGA shill? Joe Rogan is such a big Trump shill that he refused to even open his platform to him over the last 8 years. It's just so dumb and delusional. These people are so far detached from reality, it's not even funny. Joe Rogan is the establishment, and apparently they're the anti-establishment, but they're the ones who seem to move in total synchrony with all the big three-letter agencies and all the big major corporations. Joe Rogan's the establishment and we're the counter-establishment, says the people who literally parrot every left-wing establishment talking point you can imagine. I mean, give me a break. The audacity of these people to claim that Joe Rogan is not independent media, and as if they're the real independent media. Left-wing independent media almost doesn't exist, because even the people who are supposedly independent seem to fall for every bogus narrative, every psyop. It's almost as if these people can't independently think, and that's why I guess honesty and the ability to critically think seems so alien to them. Joe Rogan's behavior doesn't make sense to them, because the only thing that they understand is being a complete establishment shill, a vote blue no matter who ain't on. But Joe Rogan, of course, is anything but.
When you see things like the documents case or the real estate case, which is the most disgusting one, pretending that Mar-a-Lago, that somehow or another someone was a victim because he overvalued Mar-a-Lago, even though he paid all those loans back and the banks profited from it. There was no victim at all. And yet they fine him this insane amount of money and try to say that Mar-a-Lago was worth $18 million. That is just such a slap in the face of anybody that understands. First of all, anybody that understands property values in that area. That's preposterous to say that place is only $18 million. It's enormous property and the most expensive real estate in the United States, or one of the most expensive places for real estate. And there was just so many of these cases over and over and over again that just right in everyone's face. And very little pushback, no pushback from the media at all. They went along with it as if these 34 felonies for a bookkeeping error that is essentially a misdemeanor that's past the statute of limitations, and now you're marking it up as a felony, but you can't even identify the felony. The whole thing is madness. And all these news organizations, because they don't like Trump, are going along with this insanely dangerous precedent. Because if that goes through, well, what happens if Republicans get into office and you have some new Democrat that you really love, and this Democrat is a real challenge and a threat to the Republican, and they start doing the same that you did? Or is that what you want? You want us to be a banana republic just because you don't like Trump? I mean, it just shows you how many people were willing to sacrifice all of their ethics, all the things that they believe in, what the Bill of Rights stands for, what the Constitution stands for. All that. We don't want this guy to win. Throw it all away. And then you throw everything away. Then we have no freedom of speech. We have no nothing. It's all gone. The whole thing is so mind-boggling how short-sighted people are in the name of wanting their side to win.
Yeah, he's the guy questioning narratives, whether or not said narrative upholds his political worldview. He's the guy asking the real questions, but apparently he's being demonized, and he's just a dishonest shill. Give me a friggin' break. The left has learned absolutely nothing. All you have to do is show up and have a conversation, you know? And that's really what Joe Rogan was saying. That's the message he was sending to the Kamala team.
My whole goal with her and with him is just talk. Just have a conversation like a human being. You find out things about people. You get a sense of them, at least, a real sense. That was it. I don't give a what we talk about. I really don't. I just want to talk to you. Who the are you?
All Joe Rogan was saying was, hey, Kamala, show up and have an honest conversation, but they couldn't do it. You know, they're talking about independent media here, but the fact is, leftists can't exist in an independent media space. I think that's probably the reality, and this is the tantrum that they're throwing. Yep, trying to flip the script, I guess, rewrite history by now casting Joe Rogan as the establishment and them as the anti-establishment. You can't make this stuff up, but one thing's for sure, the left isn't going anywhere with this strategic approach. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.